I think when we're talking about ascension, when we're talking about things like coming into this 3D reality as this version of yourself, I think it all starts with identity, right? Because that's the difference between how we are viewing and operating in this kind of dream experience versus being lost and immersed in the dream. From the outside, the dream is just an experience that you're having. From the inside, it looks like all these things are happening to us: loss, grief, not enough, lack, all those types of things. But when you are able to truly identify who you are as a divine being, as soul, because when you really look beyond this form, this appearance of a person is really just a character avatar. It's really just a vehicle. It's an instrument for your divine self. It's a tool for your divine self to operate in this dream experience. And really, this dream experience is for you to do exactly that. Have experiences in consciousness, have experiences in soul. And so that includes things like sadness, like upset, like frustration, like offense. Because it's through those type of experiences, it's through those types of feeling emotional experiences that you get the pointer back to who you truly are. Because if I'm frustrated by an experience where something didn't go my way, someone didn't respond the way I wanted them to respond, something that looked like it was going to happen, that was going to be advantageous for me, didn't happen, it's through the contrast of that experience that moment when I sit back and go, what happened here? What was this really all about? When I begin to question my reality, now I'm pointed in a direction of soul. I'm pointed in a direction of consciousness. I'm on the path to understanding that as consciousness, as soul, I'm creating all of this. I'm creating my experiences. And even when you look at the climate, at least from the United States, with the elections and some of the entertainers that are in the news, we are as much co-creators of that experience and definitely being able to stretch those experiences out as anything, because nothing ever happens in your reality. Nothing ever happens in your reality without you signing off on it on a soul level. And so it's our preoccupation with, okay, let me see what's coming up next. Let me see what they're saying about it now. Let me see what they're saying about it now. Let me go on YouTube and find the message. What are they saying on YouTube about this? Let me do a Facebook post. Oh, somebody posted this. Oh, I got something to say about that. And now we are lost in the dream. And the dream is only ever to show you and to remind you that you are in control. And not only are you in control, and I got to say this slowly, because a lot of us are going to miss this or either not interpret it correctly. But each and every one of us is experiencing our own earth. We're not necessarily sharing the same earth. And I'm going to get into parallel realities in a moment. But one of the easiest ways to explain this to people is you see your reality. You see your world through your point of consciousness. That means this world, this reality that you are experiencing is being defined by you. They did this because of this. This is what this means. This is the label I'm going to add to this. This is how I'm going to define this. I could be right beside you and define that same experience a different way. Why? Because I'm experiencing my own version of Earth. Of the how many people, 8 point something billion, whatever. And before I go further, let me talk about the difference between spiritually awakening and ascension. Those who are in the ascension space, they know that there's only one. They know that they identify as soul. Matter of fact, it can be said of those on the ascension journey that they are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience, because they know that none of this is real. And not only is none of this real, but none of this is happening. In back of this experience, I am observing this. I am witnessing this. I am silent. You see the character avatar, you see the vessel in which I am expressing myself, the same as the you that is viewing this, the you that is listening to this, is the vessel for your silent witness, and it is the same silent witness that I am. Those who are kind of on that spiritual awakening journey, they are more spiritual beings having a human experience. This is all happening. This is all real. This is what I can do. And this is what I'm doing, whatever. But from the position of soul, doing just happens. You're just witnessing it. You're just aware of it. That's one of the differences between the ascension journey and the spiritual awakening journey. But I was talking about, and I did a teaching one time called Infinite Worlds, Infinite Earths. And again, when you think about the idea that I'm experiencing and interpreting and defining my reality from my perspective, from my point of consciousness, then that's your Earth, right? The person beside you, that's they're interpreting. There might be similar interpretations, similar definitions, but ultimately that's their Earth as well. But they're running parallel. And some, when they talk about parallel realities, talk about it being stacked on top of each other, one parallel reality on another. But they're all existing in this now moment. Whoever you are conscious of being in this moment, that version of self is experiencing that reality. It's not, I see it and so I believe it. It's, I believe it and so I see it. And whatever self-identity that you assume, you draw experiences like experiences to you. The difference is, if that same soul were to now be conscious of themselves as abundant, as wealth, as rich, their reality may not immediately shift, but they will begin to draw experiences that match their new state of consciousness. And it doesn't immediately shift because this reality is just a mirror. And what we don't often think about or consider, a mirror takes a moment. It looks like it's in real time, but a mirror is reflecting what's in front of it, not in real time, but like it's like a second delay or 0.00 seconds delay. It's a delay that you're seeing in the mirror. And so the moment you say, I am successful, you are now shifting to a reality where you are successful. And if you're able to feel into that, if you're able to maintain that vibratory emotion, that vibratory feeling, reality has to mirror that back to you. I've had clients who they felt that based on where they were located at and based on their responsibilities as a parent, they could not attract a suitable partner. There's just, I'm too busy. I got too much going on. I can't even get out there to put myself out there. You don't need to go anywhere. There's this false belief that I can't attract everything I want sitting right here in this moment. That's not true. However, if you believe it to be true, it will be true for your reality. Because again, you are defining your earth. However, the reason I'm saying that is from a vibratory space, from a vibratory position. If I am feeling what I want to experience, if I am conscious of what I want to experience, I'll get a knock on the door. I'll get a phone call. I'll get an email. I'll get a message on social media that is exactly what I want or the next step to what I want, and I've not moved a muscle. Why is this happening? Because it's responding to your vibration. It's responding to who you say you are. I talk about healing right now while you populate the comments with what it is that you want to experience in your reality. Healing, and this is how I've worked with people who have cancer. One of the recent ones, it was reminding this person that you are soul, that you are not your body, that you are witnessing, aware, observing the body. But from the place of soul, soul can never be sick. Soul can never have cancer. Soul can never have disease. And so it's a misidentification with the body. But once you're able to put that space between my true divine self, who is witnessing the appearance of cancer or sickness, once you're able to put that space and know that I am not that, and in fact, that is helping me to remember that I'm not that, then you stop identifying with the things that you no longer want to experience. And so really, I worked with her on identity. And it really, like, where the doctors were befuddled and couldn't figure out what was going on, I think it was about 3 weeks after we finished working together, the cancer was gone. Why? Because she stopped identifying as I am and I have. The truth is soul. The truth is consciousness. And the second person who came to me, I told her this. She told me all the things that she found and what the doctor said, and they're going to try to figure out whether it's malignant or benign. I said, you don't have cancer. And it was from the perspective of my I am, knowing the truth of her I am. And that as soul, as consciousness, sickness, from a soul level, we don't even comprehend sickness. What is that? It's only when we identify, misidentify, over-identify with the body as who we are, with the mind as who we are, that we get lost in the dream of our experiences. And not only get lost in the dream of our experiences, but it becomes a story for us. The story is, I have this, or I don't have that, or this is, this is my life. And that's not the truth. That's not the truth. You can experience appearances, but appearances are not the truth. You appear to be a physical body. You appear to be a mind, but the truth you are a soul. And even deeper than that. And I've gotten over the past year or so, gotten a lot of pushback on this. But the truth of who you are is God. The truth of who you are is the divine. You are an expression of your physical body, meaning, or this appearance of a physical body is an expression of your divine self, and your divine self is God. How do I know this? Why do I say this? And I usually, when I'm dealing with religious people, this is what I give them. In the Bible, and I spent 20 years as a Christian minister, so I know exactly what I'm talking about from a mind standpoint. But in the Bible, it says, in the beginning, God. Or in the beginning of the word was the word in the New Testament. if in the beginning was God, and God was all there was, and there was nothing else, then what did God have to create out of other than itself? Because if it was something else there, then it wasn't in the beginning God, it was God and. But if God was all there was, whether trees or animals or humans or whatever, or the parents of humans or whatever, it can only be made out of what was already there. And so if I had a tree, for an example, I can make a table, I can make a chair, I can make a door, I can make a cabinet. It's just different expressions of the tree. But it's still the tree. It's just a tree it's just a tree assuming the label of. Right? And so the truth of who you are is God experiencing itself as you, as your separate self, as your character avatar, as your earth. So I want to talk about parallel realities for a second. A little bit more, because I touched on it a little bit earlier. Again, every parallel reality is existing in this now moment. So if there is something or something that you want to experience that you are not, it's attached to an identity. And so everything that you are experiencing in your current reality is related to or is a consequence of how you see yourself. It's understanding that how I see myself is how my reality shows up, and so if I want to change what I'm experiencing, I don't change what's out there. All realities exist. All versions of you exist right now. I don't change this. I shift to the reality where the version of me that is experiencing what I want to be experiencing is at. So in terms of shifting to realities, again, it is all about being conscious now of being that. The moment that you shift your self-identity to the version of you that has what you want to have, you've now shifted to a parallel reality. Now, your environment may look the same around you, but trust me when I say you have now shifted to a reality that existed. You have now merged with that version of you. And I do this kind of in a roundabout way when I'm working with my clients. I take them through a hypnotherapy type session. And I'm really asking them to, hey, look through the eyes of the you, hear what they would hear, see what they would see, feel what they would feel, assume their body posture, feel their energy, look through their eyes. And in the moment that you are shifting you're shifting your body language, you're shifting how you breathe, you're shifting how you see life, you've now shifted to that version of you who is experiencing that. And now the only thing that you need to do is wait for that mirror or reality or your earth to reflect that back to you. But the moment you're like, where is it? You're now in that reality where that version of you asking, where is it is. But it's about shifting, because I've talked to people, talk to clients, talk to friends, and they're like, James, I'm just, my finances are this. I'm just waiting for something to happen and nothing's happened yet. Everything that you want to experience, there is a version of you experiencing it. And mindset is actually how we are creating our environment. So one of the ways to shift into that reality where you have what it is that you desire, whether that's money, whether that's love, whether that's health, whether that's success, or whatever, is I always talk about rooms in consciousness. Jesus says it like this. He says, in my Father's house are many mansions. When he talks about many mansions, he's talking about rooms in consciousness. Right now, I'm in one room where I am James the coach, James the teacher. Again, this is how I'm appearing in this moment. In another room, I'm Dad the father. In another room, I'm James the romantic partner. And I want to make sure I don't overtalk this, but what I'm essentially saying is that what you focus on is the reality, is the version, and the room that you are occupying. So if I want to shift to that version, that reality, that room where I have that exists it literally exists right now. That version of you literally exists right now. If I want to shift to that version of myself, I now need to occupy the room that he or she occupies. Meaning, if it's finances, say a bill shows up in the mail, how would my abundant self view this? Oh, just a bill I take care of that. Let me put that away. Because that's going to be getting taken care of. But if I'm looking at that going, man, I did not expect this. Where is this going to come? Gosh, I only got such and such amount in my bank account. Shit, where's that? You have assumed the reality and the version of self that does not have. But if you look at it going, oh, that's nothing, I'll be able to take care of that. Doesn't mean that your reality has shifted, because you shift first. Even because I told you, I've spent some years in Christendom. So the Bible I always say Jesus is still my God. Though I don't associate with being a Christian, I always say Jesus is still my God. And one of the things he says is that signs and wonders follow. They follow. So you have to you have to assume an identity first. But one of the things I thought to talk about was everyone is you pushed out. Meaning from a soul level, how you see yourself and how you see others, that is how they are showing up. Again, you don't see it, and so you believe it. You believe it, and so you see it. And so you can shift someone who is disagreeable by seeing them as, whether you close your eyes, whether you just sit in silence and you see them acting in the way that maybe they hadn't acted before. So if you have, in judgment, label that person as negative, this is your reality. This is your fucking earth. It gets to show up the way you want it to show up. So, and I gave this to someone a couple of days ago. See the people that you call negative in your reality, see them as positive. And don't just see them, but feel as much as you can. Feel what maybe you would feel if they were acting in a way that was more agreeable. And you will be shocked. This has worked on relationships. This has worked on family members. This has worked on friends. This has worked, I've had people who all these years, I felt that this person this person just doesn't like me. This person doesn't. I gave them this. I said, see them the way you would want them to be. And in seeing them the way you want them to be and feeling that, I got an instant message on Facebook the next day. James, it was just a misunderstanding and now there's agreement between us now, of course. Because we think what's out there, or we allow what's out there to dictate who we are. But when you understand that, again, you are not this body, you are not this mind, you are soul, you understand that on your earth, from your point of consciousness, you are in control. Nothing can happen in your reality except you sign off on it. And the way you sign off on it at times is going, this is just the way it is. This is just how they are. This is just how my life is. This is just what I got to deal with. And you really don't. You really don't. So, at night, when you're having a dream, you could be getting chased. It could be some undesirable experience. Something that causes great sadness. It seems like this is what's happening. It seems like this appearance of what I'm experiencing in my dream is all there is to life in this moment. But we forget, and we have no remembrance unless we awake in the dream, that the real you is safe. The real you is on its bed, perfectly okay, perfectly, unbothered. But you're dreaming that all this is going on, this is happening, and I got to get away from this. But you're in a peaceful, calm place. It's the same as we deal with this reality. We think shit is happening that isn't happening. The appearance of it, and I will never invalidate or diminish someone's experience, the appearance of it seems real, feels real, but appearances are not the truth. Last year I spent about 40 days in the wilderness. No creature comforts. I was in a dark night of the soul, second dark night of the soul. And that was essentially the beginning of my ascension journey, right? Because I spent that time, a lot of what I'm articulating in this moment was downloaded. I'm working through kind of what we call negative energy. I'm acting in fear-based ways that are disrupting my life, disrupting other people's lives. So I went into the wilderness because I remember Jesus going into wilderness for 40 days. And then it's saying that he came out with power. So it doesn't talk about all that he received in that moment. Most of the Christian Bible talks about his temptations, but I'm confident so much more was downloaded in that experience. And so for me, it's been from February of last year. Now, the catalyst experience that triggered that began in late 2022. But from that wilderness experience, I've been ascending from that. I've been reaching higher and higher states of consciousness from that. And really, when we talk about things like awakening, the truth is you're already awake. Again, this is just an appearance. So we are experiencing the appearance of this separate self, of this character avatar, of this seemingly human awakening. But the truth is, you are already awake. You are already awake. You can never be anything other than abundance. You can never be anything other than love. You can never be anything other than vibrant life. And you are all these things just watching the unfoldment of this reality. Your abundance watching yourself become abundant. Your love watching your call in love. Your vibrant life watching yourself ascend to vibrant life. But you are already that. I am that I am. And once we begin to shift our attention, shift our focus to what we already are, ascension happens rapidly. Now, I was speaking to someone recently. I was giving them, young man about 17 years old came to me, and I love that because what I'm recognizing is that Earth is shifting very rapidly into what's called 5D, and maybe I'll do a video about that. I'll do a live about that. But basically, people are waking up to, well, there's a divide where a greater majority of people are waking up to love and oneness, and the bliss of soul. And I'm watching it happen at younger and younger ages, right? So he came to me and I said, one of the things that you need to be aware of so that you don't fall into this trap is that the ascension journey is not a linear journey. It's not, I'm just ascending up, up, up. It's an oscillating journey, meaning I will take off and ascend, but at some point I'm back here. Wait, why am I back here? I've gained so much ground. I've done so much. I've done so much work. Again, it's not a linear journey. You're going to come back to a certain point, but it's not going to affect you as much. The more you come back to it, and it's ascending upward. It's not linear. So there are times when we feel like we didn't make any progress at all. What the hell happened? I was doing so good. And you are. And you were. And you will continue to be. But it's like, from a linear perspective, it's almost like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, then 3 steps forward. So practicing it on a consistent basis, and really practicing is just recognizing that I am that already. I'm waiting for this 3D reality version of me. I'm waiting for this 3D reality version of life to catch up with what I now know to be the truth, right? What I now know to be the truth, I'm just waiting for reality to catch up. But kind of the key points that I'm asking you to take away from this is continually come back to the truth of who you are. This is an expression of who you are, but it's not who you are. You are imagining this. You are dreaming this. Your true self is just watching it. Just watching it.